Today on FilmRiot, we're all getting some awesome tips from incredible cinematographers. Welcome to FilmRiot, the show that takes mystery out of the effects and techniques to one of some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley, and briefly, I mentioned it last week, but I wanted to stress it again for you all today so you don't miss it. Next week, for 2 days only, on April 4th and 5th, there is a free online event, which is a bunch of cinematography keynotes slash masterclasses, really, from some incredible cinematographers. These guys have work that is just out of control, insane, like Pierre Gill, who has DP'd Upside Down, The Colony, and is the second unit DP for the new Blade Runner film. But each day, there are 4 different DPs that are breaking down their own projects. It really is a free online course in cinematography, which again, you could digitally attend for free because it's free. And I know I'm pushing this pretty hard here, but I don't want you guys to miss it. I've seen the previous year's keynotes and it is very, very good. So go here, click the I want in and sign up. Then you'll be notified when the class is up. And you can pre-buy those classes that are coming so you have them for good after that, or even buy the previous years if you want, but none of that is needed to attend this online event because free. And as a taste of the goods, they've hooked us up with a few free moments of great tips from previous years. So today we are going to get a couple of great pieces of insight from Pierre Gill's keynote from a few years ago. In total, each of these are around an hour and a half long, but we were able to get our hands on a few of these moments to hook you guys up with for free. So let's jump right in with Mr. Gill talking about the importance of choosing your lens for different types of faces.
Very important note. It is critical where you place your lens. Each lens has a perfect distance to a subject depending on its shape. Take the time to move around left to right, closer and further to find the sweet spot of a specific focal length, especially on actors' faces. And this is very, very important. When you put a lens, it's really like there's a sweet spot and you use a 40 mil, and if it's too far, it's boring. If it's too close, it's... generally speaking, of course. On actor's face, it is absolutely critical. And the first thing I do when I shoot a movie or TV, whatever, I scan the actors when they come with my eyes, and I look at them, their features, and I know that some lens won't work with them. And then I do a test, at makeup and hair test, and I really try with an actor the 40, the 50, the 65, the 75, and very often you're like, okay, good. For example, on this shot, I use a 40mm lens. It was the best lens to use for the shape of this actress' face. A 32mm was too round, and the 50 was too square. The distance with the 40mm was perfect. A little closer, she looked deformed. A little wider, she did not fill the frame. So it's, you know, like, of course that, and again, I'm talking about shots I've done, and you can use lens the way you want, of course, and sometimes it's on purpose and it's good, but sometimes it's not on purpose and it's bad. On actors, it's critical. On women, it's critical also. And then you see on this shot, she looks like gorgeous, and the shape of her face is nice. It's nice to watch. So you're looking at her eyes. So you bring the audience to really focus on the eyes and not. Because we're very, very strong. The subconscious of the human is very strong. So you have to find a lens that's going to work perfectly. And you take a viewfinder if you have the budget. If you don't, well, you take the camera and you go closer, wider. You just say to the actress, stay there for me. It's just a test. I want to see, okay? And you try it. And then you see, wow, oh my God, look at her face now. She looks really good. You're looking for the photogenic. Photogenic is not about being beautiful. You have very ugly people that are absolutely stunning, and you have beautiful people that are absolutely nothing on film. So it doesn't work. It's not about that. It's about you see their shape, you use the lens. So, for example, on Eric Roberts, looked better with a 75mm lens because he has a wider forehead. Therefore, the 40mm would have made him look wider and higher. With a 75, we focus on the most important, his eyes. The difference between those two shots is very critical because you see that you're looking at the eyes.
I really loved, but never really thought about that tip before. Such a simple but really huge thing for sure. But now we're going to take a quick break to keep the lights on, and then we have 2 more tips from Pierre Gill. Justin, what's wrong? Oh my God. Whose blood is this? What have you done? Justin! If you're a budding filmmaker, entrepreneur, innovator, domain.com is the place to go when that next great idea hits you. And when you buy a domain from domain.com, you are taking the first steps in creating an identity and vision for your brand or idea. The world's top 2 premier and most recognized domain extensions are .com and .net, which means those are the ones that will help you build your brand and expand your presence online the best. Of course, domain.com is reliable, affordable, and easy to use. And to give you some love, they're giving you 25% off their already affordable prices when you get domain names, web hosting, and email. Just use coupon code FilmRiot at domain.com's checkout. And when you think domain names, think domain.com.
Logo.
Without wasting any time, let's jump right back in with the next golden nugget, which is using lines to organize your frame.
And these are wide shots, of course. I'm looking at wide shots, so lines. You use lines to create an organized frame. So lines are everywhere. These lines on this shot are in every way, every direction. This is a shot from upside down, so that was a very complex shot to do. But again, the depth is created with just enough left to right. The height, again, was very important. That was more difficult because it was a lot of green screen, so it's even harder to find the right distance. I say guide the eyes of the spectator where you want them to look. You are the master, they are the listener. I mean, now movies are going faster, TVs is faster, and shots are shorter. So you have a bigger task. You want to right away get the audience to look somewhere. So these are examples of frames with lines. The shot on the bottom left, you see, so this is a door frame with a door frame. So on this one, I really lit the background first. So I lit behind the last door, so I knew that the last square would be lit, so then I would create depth. And this is fun to do, these kind of shots, and they're hard to do. They seem to be obvious, but they're not, because it's about light and shadow to create depth. And where do you put the first light and the second one and the third one and the fourth one? And it's sometimes I do things and I'm like, shit, it's wrong. So I have to turn off a light and try another one. Let the audience decide how they feel. The normal lens, it's more on the drama side usually. So you have to find really a well-balanced frame to create enough depth, but to keep it realistic most of the time. And there are lenses you use, like I say, because when you have a good story, it's really great when you can let the audience feel. You're not always telling them how to feel. So you're guiding them where to look. But if you achieve a great shot, it's going to be just perfect. It's not going to be too beautiful or too this or too that. And you're going to let the audience to sink in and just look at the actor and listen to the story. So that's another very important task of a cinematographer, not to go over the top or not to try to impress and make a cool shot. Let the frame speak, let the story flow. It's very important. You see, just quickly on the first shot with Catherine Keener, again, I'm using the light source to create depth, a bit of smoke in the window just to have some soft dimension, so the light becomes dimensional. It would be very different without smoke, very, very, very different. And a little light in the foreground, so we feel a bit of depth. On this black and white shot, on this one is black and white, so you create depth very differently. You create it with the contrast. But you feel that it's more realism also, so these lenses.
And that's it. And if you dug this and want more, and you absolutely should because it's free information, stop what you're doing now, jump over and sign up and fill your brain this 4th and 5th with some amazing and free knowledge. Did I mention it's free? Because it is. And of course, a big thank you to CineSummit for being kind enough to let us make these tips available for you guys today. And I'll see you next week when I drunkenly play Frédéric Chopin. Oh, no!